Well, great to be back, Mosinee, and really to see the good work that they're doing here. We were talking just a moment ago about some of the stuff at their Fab Lab, but you look at the technology and how they're using it. I mean, think about being at that young an age in the classroom, learning the fundamentals of coding, learning about keyboarding. I think back when I was at my old high school a couple of years ago, one of the kids asked me about, what was one of the most important classes you took that you didn't know was important at the time. And I said it was the typewriting class of all things. It helped me to learn how to use a keyboard. Today, obviously, we don't have typewriters in schools like that, but learning how a keyboard to be efficient and effective on that, doing that this young, really helps them take full advantage of the technology. And then obviously to see the fun that they were having with the class, with the students being able to tie into the morning announcements and just using technology there and really being excited about it. All this is about using state-of-the-art technology to help stimulate kids to get the best education possible. They're really looking at it not just for the technology, but for new and exciting ways to get children of all ages engaged in education here in the state of Wisconsin, particularly here in the Mosinee School District. And we're thrilled that through the Teach Grants, we can help out with that. It's really following the lead that we have from local school districts, making the decisions that we're not just throwing money at it with grants, but really saying, and we're going to tie in to where they really got effective programs, where they're using technology to really drive educational outcomes and improvements in education. And this is an exciting part. About $35.5 million increase we did this last budget in Teach grants and broadband infrastructure grants. The idea being for our schools and our communities, we want to make sure that every student and every community has access to some of the best technology possible. And today's grants are just another example of that.
How many schools will receive this grant this year?
They've got, in fact, I've got to get Jack, I can get the total after that. We can give you the follow-up
Okay.
on the total. We've got, this is a part of a couple rounds, but we can give you the annual amount. Today, we announced about $7 million of assortment of different grants, but it goes through cycles, just like we do with the broadband access grants, where we go through, we did one in March, we're doing another one in September. We do them in cycles, but we can get you the annual number as well. But it's really exciting because it's, for us, it's about making sure there's technology in the schools, and it ties in similarly to some work we've done with the broadband access grants to make sure that every part of the state of Wisconsin is connected. And with those grants, we can do it in a way where it's leveraging local dollars, either through local governments and sometimes through a local telecommunication company.
So just exactly what is the Teach Grant then, for those of us that don't know?
Yeah, Teach grants have been around for a while. We just started out, the first wave was in 2016, what were the infrastructure grants. It's actually helping, there was curriculum grants before that would help and assist for many, many years in terms of teaching how to use technology, and that this is actually about physically helping with the actual hardware, with the infrastructure itself, making sure they've got access to the technology. And that's really exciting to think about those kind of dollars being available, again, not just in this school district, but in school districts all across the state.
Nice. Speaking of school districts, and
Yeah.
I know this might be a little bit off topic,
That's right.
in light of the recent school shootings in Texas, where does Wisconsin stand with your school safety plan? Can schools start to apply for that grant?
Yep, the application process has already started. We believe the vast majority of the dollars to the grants, $100 million is one of the largest in the country. It's being done through the Wisconsin Department of Justice because we wanted people specifically involved in public safety issues to be helping schools across the state fit the right way to connect with the needs that they have. And our hope is that the vast majority of those grants will be out in time so that the improvements, changes, upgrades that'll be made could be made before the start of the school year.
Also, staying on the school topic,
Yeah.
but a little bit different. There was assistant dean from UWSP, and then I'm sure you saw was then rehired at
Yeah.
Eau Claire. Kind of what's your reaction to that whole situation?
Well, obviously, it's certainly troubling for us anytime you have that. That's something we're going to push back on the University of Wisconsin system to try and find out why exactly that would happen. Because in general, state government, we don't run the University of Wisconsin system, but in state government overall, our expectation is we believe every one of our agencies in the state should be taking issues like this seriously and taking swift action, as we've done in the past in the agencies that we control.
And I understand that the gentleman in question, when the other universities called for a background check, the investigation into what happened was never brought up. Is that something that you want to look into?
Absolutely. To me, not just within the UW system, I think that's something in general employers anywhere want to know. If that's something that people are proactively working to make sure that we treat as a society harassment and other issues related to that seriously. We want to make sure that employers know about what they're getting into, in the same way that we do things with other issues of concern, whether it's employers or even with students going between districts. We believe that those, whether it's an employer considering hiring someone or a student coming into a district, we believe that people should have all the information to make a wise decision.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.